Morning and welcome in the next lecture of the electromagnetic field theory. In this subject, we are studying about the electromagnetic field theory. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the uh, electric fields, electric field lines, Coulomb's law, Gauss law, electric flux, electric flux density, and we have also discussed the vector calculus, dot product, cross product, and coordinate systems. We have discussed the three types of the coordinate system in the electromagnetic field theory to understand the electromagnetic field concept. Uh, First is the rectangular coordinate system, that is known as Cartesian coordinate system. Second is cylindrical coordinate system, which is known as circular system, and last is the spherical system, which is applicable for sphere. So up to this, we have cleared the relationship of the electric field intensity and the charge, how the charge is develop the electric field or electric potential. Now today we are going to discuss about the electric dipole, electric potential, energy, work due to the electric field. And in the last, we have here to discuss the conductor, semiconductor, and insulators. The main content of this video lecture is the electric dipole, electric potential, work, energy, conductor, and semiconductor. These are the main content of this video lecture. Today we are going to discuss these topics. Now, prerequisites to learn this lecture, to understand this lecture, the student is required to learn the vector calculus, Coulomb's law, vector form of the Coulomb's law, electric field intensity. They are also able to understand the electric flux and Gauss law, electric flux density. These are the main prerequisites for understanding of the electric fields or dipole and conductor, semiconductor, and insulators. The course is focused on the foundation of electromagnetic field theory. In this lecture, student will learn the electric dipole and conductor, semiconductor, and insulator theory. The basic learning objective of this video lecture is that a student will able to understand the concept of electric dipole, electric potential, energy, and work in the field of electrostatics, the conductor, semiconductor, and insulator. Student will understand the concept of the conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. They will differentiate the three types of the materials. These are the textbook and other references which is used to learn the electric dipoles, conductor, semiconductor, and other field or other topics of electromagnetics. The principle of the electrostatics fourth edition by Sadhu is the very good book for beginners to understand the electrostatics theory. The main outcome of this video lecture is that the student will familiar with the electric dipole, concept of the electric potential, energy, and work in the case of electrostatics theory. They will also understand and learn the conductor, semiconductor, and insulators. they will learn the difference between the conductor, semiconductor, and insulator. They will understand the concept of these three materials. An electric dipole consists of 2-point charges of equal magnitude but of opposite sign and separated by a small distance. The electric dipole consists of 2-point charges. So the magnitude of these charges will be the same, but the sign is opposite. And these are the separated by a small distance. So the electric dipole is formed. As shown in the figure, the dipole is formed by the 2-point charges Q and minus Q. The magnitude of charges is same, but the sign of charges is opposite. Separated by the distance d, the charges being placed symmetrically about the origin. Let us consider a point P at a distance r where to find the field. See from the figure, as we have discussed, that a rod or a dipole has positive charge and negative charge at the end, and it is at the distance d, and it has a point P at the distance r, and r1 is the distance from the q, and r2 is the distance from the minus q. And the angle is formed by the z axis is theta. So this dipole is placed at the origin in the xy plane. Now we will calculate the potential at P point due to the dipole can be written as V is the electric potential 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R1 minus Q upon R2, which we have already discussed in the previous lecture about the electric potential or electric field voltage. So Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught into R2 minus R1 upon R1 R2. This is the potential at P point due to the R distance or R1 or R2 distance due to the Q and Q charges. So R2 minus R1 is equal to the 2d cos theta upon 2, or it will become d cos theta. From the trigonometry, we are able to calculate it is producing the theta angle with the z direction. So we able to calculate the point P and R2 minus R1, that is the R2 minus R1 is given by the 2 times of d cos theta upon 2. So R1 is equal to, nearly equal to the R2 is equal to R. Now we assume that R1 R2 is equal to the R. So V equal to the Q upon 4 pi epsilon d cos theta upon R square. So potential at the point P due to the dipole at r distance is written as Q upon 4 pi epsilon d cos theta R square. This is the potential. We can write further that Q d cos theta is equal to the Q d Az dot AY. The quantity P equal to the QD is called the dipole moment of electric dipole. Hence, the expression for the electric potential can now be written as V equal to the P A R upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square, where the P is the dipole moment. It may be noted that while the potential of an isolated charge varies with the distance as 1 upon r, that of an electric dipole varies as 1 upon r square with the distance. See from this equation, if the dipole is not centered at the origin, but dipole center lies at r, the expression for the potential can be written as P equal to the P, where P is the moment, electric moment, R minus R dash on 4 pi epsilon R minus R dash Q, if the dipole is not centered at the origin. The electric field for the dipole centered at the origin can be computed as equal to the minus del V is equal to del V upon del R AR plus 1 upon R del V del theta A theta, which is equal to the QD cos theta upon 2 pi epsilon naught RQ AR plus QD sin theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught RQ A theta. Now the equation will become QD upon 4 pi epsilon naught RQ 2 cos theta EY plus sin theta A theta. So E is equal to the P upon 4 pi epsilon naught R cube. So in the bracket 2 cos theta AY plus sin theta A theta. Here P is equal to the electric moment, and it is given by the Q into D is the magnitude of the dipole moment. Once again, we note that electric field of electric dipole varies as 1 upon r cube, whereas that of a point charge varies as 1 upon r square. Now we have the work done by the electrostatic field or electric field. It is often useful to characterize any stream any system that can impose forces on an object by the work it does that to that object. Suppose a charge Q1 is located near another charge Q. The force acting on Q causes the work to be done by displacing Q at a distance dl. So dw is equal to the minus f dot dl, which is equal to q e dot dl. So work done is equal to the F dot dl and is equal to the, you know that F is the related with the electric field intensity and charge. So F is equal to the q dot e dot dl. So this is the work done in terms of the electric field and charge. The negative sign indicates that the work done by an external agent Q1, thus the total work done or the potential energy required to move Q a distance dl from A to B is W is equal to the minus Q A to B E dot dl. So W is equal to the minus Q, integrate from A to B E dot dl. This is equal to V E minus VA into Q. So work done and energy in the electrostatic field. To determine the energy present in an assembly of charges, we must first determine the amount of work necessary to assemble them. Suppose we position three charges Q1, Q2, and Q3 in an initial empty space. Initially, there is no work done to transfer the charge Q1 from infinity to our workspace because the space is the initially charged, free with no electric field in the region. However, there is a field present from the Q1 when we move Q2 into the position. The work done by transferring the Q2 into the our work space is the product of the Q2 times the potential difference between the Q1 and Q2. The same is true as we position charge Q3 with respect to charge Q1 and Q2. Here the work done by charges Q1, Q2, Q3. The work done is the W1 plus W2, W3. W is equal to the 0 plus Q1 V21 plus Q3 V31 plus V32. If the charge was positioned in the reverse order, then work done is total work done by charge Q1 and Q2. 3 is equal to the W1, W2, W3 is equal to 0 plus Q2 V23 plus Q3 V12 plus V13. Thus, by adding the all the works possibly performed obtained, that is the 2W is equal to the by adding of these two equations in the reverse order and in the forward order. So we will get that 2 of work W is equal to the 0 plus Q2 V23 plus Q3 in the bracket V12 plus V13 plus 0 plus Q1 V21 plus Q3 V31 plus V32. So this is the total work done. It is comes as Q1 V1 plus Q2 V2 plus Q3 V3. So W equal to the 1 upon 2. The summation from value K is vary from 1 to N 2K VK. So work done is the same as summation of the product charge and electric field intensity. So work done is the depend on electric field intensity. Therefore, one can write that the energy W present in an electrostatic field due to the different charge distribution is uh, W equal to the 1 upon 2 psi PdL in the length, W equal to the 1 upon 2 psi VDS in the case of the surface, and energy is equal to W is equal to the 1 upon 2 psi VdV. So this is the work done in the case of the small land by surface and the volume. We know that the by Gauss law, the psi equal to the del dot D. D is the Gauss electric field density, and so the psi in the case of the volume is equal to the del dot D, and work done is written as, or energy can be written as 1 upon 2 del dot D V dV. Now W is trying to given by that the 1 upon 2 del dot V dot is integrated del dot V dV minus D dot del V bracket dV. So W equal to the 1 upon 2 V D dot ds minus 1 upon 2 integrate with respect to the dv d dot del v. So it will comes as minus 1 upon 2 d dot del d dot del v bracket and multiplied by d. First integral tends to 0 as s becomes large. So energy can be written as W is equal to the 1 upon 2 integrate D dot E multiplied by dV, or 1 upon 2 integrate volume integrate epsilon naught E squared dV. So this is the formula for energy in terms of electrostatics or electric field intensity. Both formula in the terms of electric field density and permittivity are important to calculate the energy. Now we have energy density, that is the dW is equal to the small w. This is equal to the epsilon naught square upon 2, and it will comes as a d square upon 2 epsilon. This is the energy and energy density in the case of electrostatic field. Now we have conductors, semiconductor and insulators. Electrons surrounding the positive atomic nucleus are described in terms of the total energy of the electron with respect to zero reference level for an electron at in, infinite distance from the nucleus. The total energy is the sum of the kinetic and potential energy. And since energy energy must be given to an electron to pull it away from the nucleus. The energy of every electron in the atom is a negative quantity. Conductors, semiconductor insulators, it is a convenient to associate these energy levels or energy states are permissible in a given atom, and an electron must therefore absorb or emit discrete amount of the energy or quanta in passing from one level to the another. In a crystalline solid such as a metal on the diamond, such as the metal or a diamond atoms are packed closely together, many more permissible energy levels are available because of the interaction forces between the adjacent atoms. It can be observed that energies which may be caused by electrons are grouped into broad range or bands, each band consisting of very numerous closely spaced discrete levels. At a temperature of the absolute zero, the normal solid also has every level occupied, starting with the lowest and proceeding in order to until all the electrons are located. The electrons with the highest energy levels, the valence electrons, are located in the valence band. If there are permissible higher energy levels in the valence band, or if the valence band merges smoothly into a conduction band, then the additional kinetic energy may be given to the valence electrons by an external field, resulting in an electron flow. The solid is called a conductor. The filled valence band and unfilled conduction band are shown for conductor. This is the diagram of the energy band of conductor, insulators, and the semiconductor, through which we are able to understand the concept of uh, energy bands of conductor, insulator, and semiconductor. In the first A, we have energy level, the empty conduction band, and filled valence band. Second B, we have insulators. In the insulator, the energy gap is very high. So filled valence band and empty conduction band. So electrons will move from filled valence band to the empty conduction band through the energy gap. So in the case of the insulator, the energy band energy gap is very high as compared to semiconductors. In the semiconductor materials, we have a filled valence band and energy gap and empty conduction band. So the electrons are moved from filled valence band to the empty conduction band via the energy gap. So this energy gap is very small in the case of uh, semiconductor material as compared to the insulators. In the conductor, there is the no energy gap between the filled valence band and empty conduction band. If, however, the electron with the greatest energy occupies the top level in the valence band, and a gap exists between the valence band and the conduction band, then the electron cannot accept additional energy in small amounts, and the material is an insulator. So this is known as insulator. Then the electron cannot accept additional energy in the small amount. This type of material is known as insulator. The band structure is the indicated in the above figure. Note that if a relatively large amount of the energy can be transferred to the electron, it may be sufficiently excited. Jump the gap into the next band where the conduction occurs easily, where the insulator breaks down. An intermediate condition occurs when only a small forbidden region separates the two bands as indicated in the figure. A small amount of the energy in the form of the heat or an electric field may raise the energy of the electrostatic, the top of the field band, and provide the basis for conduction. Means when the electrons is moved, charge is moved from field band to the conduction band, there is the some energy is released in terms of the photon that provide the basis for conductions. These materials are insulators, which display the many of the properties of the conductors and are called semiconductors. So this is the theory about the insulators and the conductors and the semiconductors. Semiconductors has the properties of four key materials: insulator and the conductors. Now, conductor-free space boundary. When suddenly the charge distribution is unbalanced within a conducting material, there suddenly appear a number of the electrons in the interior of the conductor. The electric field set up by these electrons are not countered by any positive charges, and the electrons being to the accurate away from each other. The electric field set up by these electrons are not countered by any positive charges, and the electrons begin to accelerate away from each other. This continues until the electron reach the surface of the conductor from the inner side of the conductor. Here, the outward progress of the electron is stopped, for the material surrounding the conductor is an insulator, not possessing a conduction band. No charge will remain within the conductor. Hence, the final result within a conductor is zero charge density, and a surface charge density resides on the exterior surface. Also, for static conditions in which no current may flow, the electric field intensity within the conductor is zero. So, in the static condition, no current may be flow. Electric field intensity within the conductor is zero. So, for electrostatics, no charge and no electric field may exist at any point within a conductor. The charge may appear on the surface as surface charge density. There will be a field external to the conductor, and this field can be decomposed into the two components. One is the tangential component and one is the normal to the conductor surface. From this figure, we are able to understand the two field component in the field and density. In the case of the field and density, the conductor which has the length delta L and surface delta S, the free space, normal vector and tangential vector. Normal vector and the tangential vector of the electric field is shown in this figure. So we are able to understand the concept of conductor free space field. The tangential component is seen to be zero. If it were not zero, a tangential force would be applied to the elements of surface, resulting in their motion and non-static conditions. Since static conditions are assumed, the tangential electric field intensity and electric flux density are zero. These are the results from the previous study, that is the closed integral of E dot dl equal to 0 and total field Et dot into del W energy is equal to the 0, which is Et equal to 0. Closed integral of D dot ds is equal to the Q dn into delta S is equal to the rho S delta S, dn equal to the rho S, and dt is equal to the Et is equal to the 0. The summary of this conductor theory and the previous study, the static electric field inside the conductor is 0. The static, from this we are able to understand, static field in the inside of the conductor is 0. The static electric field intensity at the surface of the conductor is everywhere normal to the surface of the conductor. The conductor surface is an equipotential surface. The conductor surface is the producing the potential, so it is as a work as a equipotential surface. Now we have some multiple choice question on the study of the electric dipole, conductor materials, insulators, semiconductor materials, work and force due to the electrostatic theory. The charge Q is placed at the center of the line joining the 2 points charges plus Q and plus Q as shown in the figure. The ratio of charge Q and Q is, choice A is the 4, choice B is 1 by 4, choice C is -4, choice D is -1 by 4. Question second, the electric field lines provide information about A, field strength, B, direction, C, nature of the charge, D, all of the line. The force per unit charge is known as A, electric flux, B, electric field, C, electric potential, D, electric current. force per unit charge, that is the F upon Q, is known as the two charges 1C and 4C exist in the air. What is the direction of the force? Choice A, away from the 1C. Choice B, away from minus 4C. Choice C, from 1C to minus 4C. Choice D, from minus 4C to 1C. Since the charges are unlike, the force will be attractive. The charges are like, then force will be not attractive and destructive, or it is repelled. Thus, the force directs from 1C to minus 4C, from positive charge to negative charge. Find the force of the interaction between the 60 states Coulomb and 37 states Coulomb spaced by 7.5 centimeter apart in the transformer coil. So in 10 to the power minus 4 Newton, A is the 8.15, B is 5.18, C is 1.518, D is 1.815. So correct answer is the 1.815 into 10 to the power minus 4 Newton. Sixth multiple choice question. The SI unit of electric flux is A, Newton per Coulomb meter square, B, Newton Coulomb meter square, C, Newton per Coulomb square into meter square, D, Newton per Coulomb into meter square. SI unit of permittivity of free space is A, Farad, B, Weber, C, Coulomb square upon Newton into upon meter square, D is the C square upon that is charge Coulomb square upon Newton into meter square. For a charge Q1, the effect of charge Q2 on Q1 will be A, F1 equal to F2, B, F1 equal to the minus F2, C, F1 equal to the F2 equal to 0, D, F1 and F2 are not equal. The force of two charges with respect to each other is given by F1 and F2. Thus, the F1 and F2 equal to 0 and F1 equal to the minus F2. Correct answer is the surface considered by the Gauss law is called A, closed surface, B, spherical surface, C, Gaussian surface, D, plane surface. Last multiple choice question number 10, that is the find the force on a charge 2C in a field 1 volt per meter. So we know that the force is related with the E is equal to the E equal to the F upon Q. So choice number A is 0, B 1, C 2, D 3. Force is the product of charge and electric field. So F equal to the Q into E, and it will 2 into 1, that is the 2 Newton. The total force on the charge 2C in the field of 1 volt per meter is 2 Newton. So today's lecture conclusion is that today we have studied the electric field intensity uh, in terms of the work and force. And we also calculate the relationship with the electric field intensity to the energy and relation with the force and electric field intensity in terms of the permittivity and electric field density. Today we have discussed the electric dipole. In this, we have calculated the field due to the two charges which have same magnitude with opposite sign at t distance. We have calculated the electric field voltage. In the last, we have discussed the conductor materials and insulator and semiconductor. So in this, we have discussed the basic phenomena of the conductor, insulator, and semiconductor material. Thank you. Thank you very much.